Today is all about how we put food on the table. This is going to be our dinner.
Howdy, and welcome to the Bar SC Ranch, where you will experience our journey of running a family business, caring for animals, and doing life together. Subscribe now and be inspired here at the Bar SC. All right, so we've got Charlie here with us today. We processed a pig a couple weeks ago with Pat. Today, Charlie is working on a lamb, and we thought we'd take you through a little bit of the process. It is different. The animals, though they're relatively the same shape and size and all the rest, all the same parts, they do the process is a little bit different. So Charlie, do you want to just talk us through? So getting started, you're on the ground here. It's easier to prep the lamb, perhaps.
Yes, it's a lot easier when you got it laying down on the ground. You can roll it around where you can open it up, get all the belly done, and then we'll hang it and finish pulling the skin off.
So what's the purpose of working on the ground here, and then how's this prep work here going to help make your job easier once you hoist the lamb up?
Well, the prep work, I can get it all off the belly. Working on the ground is kind of a downer. If you had a cradle where you're not on your knees, is the ideal way. But I don't do this for a living, and I have very few tools to do this with. So I just keep it on the ground, hold it with my knees and my legs.
With the pig, we talked about the importance of the fat. Is that as important here with processing the lamb?
Yes, there's a lot of flavor in the fat, and you know that makes it, if you have the chops or sausage or whatever you're having done with it, the fat's important. That way when you prepare the meat, it's not dry. Everybody's had a real dry hamburger, right? Especially when you have the hamburger that's 4 and 6% fat. It's a lot of meat, but that's all you have is meat. You don't have a whole lot of flavor. So any fat on an animal is used for flavoring.
As we're processing this lamb, let's go through and talk about the different cuts that you might get off of this lamb. Some of you might be familiar with some of the favorites that you get off of a lamb. You'll get the leg of lamb, you'll get lamb chops, right? Some even might be familiar with ribs, but there might be other cuts of the lamb that you're not familiar with. So let's start on the hind end. The leg of lamb, right, is going to come off of the hind end, the upper hind end section of the lamb, and about the back fifth of the lamb will be used for leg of lamb. Number of different ways you can prepare that. It can be a really nice cut, but then you move in just a little bit towards the front, and inside the leg of lamb, you're going to have a little section that's going to be designated for the sirloin. Really nice cut. It's going to be a bit more tender. The leg might be a bit tougher as it's on the hind end and there's a lot of muscle there, but move into the sirloin, it's pretty tender. Move in a little bit more towards the shoulders, and you're going to have a little cross section, and that's where the loin is located. Right, also a really nice cut of meat. Then move in a little bit even yet more towards the shoulder, and we're about now over the front leg, and this is where the rib cage is located. All right, so the ribs, lamb ribs can be quite tasty. So the ribs will come off of the front section, but not all the way in the front. So you have one more in the front of the ribs. You're going to have the shoulder, all right, and that's going to be again, that's used for roasts. Oftentimes that's a good, still a nice cut, but oftentimes for roasts and things like that. So the shoulder is the upper front section of the lamb. And then as you drop down below the shoulders and ribs both, you get the breast meat. So this is a good pork chop. It's also another good cut of meat. Again, every cut's just a little bit different because some portion of the lamb might be fattier than others. Some portion might be tender than others because it's not a muscle that's used as often. All right, so the shoulders and the legs could be pretty tough. The legs especially, with a lot of activity. Sheep like to jump. So some of the cuts, a bit tougher, some more tender, and that always dictates, how you might want to prepare that meat. So the breast meat is below the shoulder and rib, just above the front legs. And then if you move over towards the back end of the sheep, but stay in the belly area, that's the flank. So flank steaks are also really good cut. Oftentimes that's really popular with beef, but you also can get a flank steak out of a lamb as well. So that's the body of the lamb. And then as you move in, so the legs, there's a little bit of meat on the upper section of the front and back legs. So on the front side, it's called the foreshank. And on the back side would be the hind shank. So the sections of the lamb that we would butcher and carve out to make meats, starting at the back end, you'd have the leg, then the sirloin, then the loin, the ribs, the shoulder. I didn't talk about the neck. Some people will go up into the neck. There is meat there, and then the cheek. And if you've ever had lengua, tongue as well could be used. And then you drop down to the shoulder, and then underneath the shoulder over the front leg is the breast meat, and then the belly towards the back is the flank, and then you have the hind shank and the foreshank. So those are the sections of the lamb that we'll cut out and butcher different cuts of meat.
Okay, now we're going to open the cavity up with your knife. A lot of people put their hands in with the knife out. I don't. I put my hand in and keep everything pushed away as I slide down. The intestines and the stomachs, you do not want to cut for no reason, because you've got a really, really bad mess, and then you got to clean it off your meat and everything. This lamb is really, really fat. You gonna put your bucket under here? Ready? There they go. The liver, the gallbladder, and the stomachs. The kidneys.
Now, are you going to eat some of these organs?
Some people do. The girl that I'm processing this for said she didn't want them. So it's perfectly time for you guys to see what a sheep kidney looks like.
Looks like a kidney bean.
Yep. There's two. There's one on each side of the carcass. There's the other one, all wrapped in fat. There's the heart and the lungs.
Now, when you're pulling the organs out, is there something that you might be looking for? If you notice something about the organs, could that say something about the health of the animal? And would...
Yes, you can always look at the liver and the heart, to make sure it's not bruised or it's discolored, or the liver, make sure it's not spotty or have white spots in it or hard patches.
If you see some of those things, what would you do or not do moving forward?
I would not eat the organ that it come out on. But the rest of it should be all right.
Okay, so you wouldn't look at the organs, see a discoloring, and say this animal's...
The animal should be good unless there's a foul odor, or if there's stuff attached on the side of the rib cage.
Would that odor come from the...
If it was a tumor, it could
From
have
the
an odor.
inside, when you open it up, you would smell something?
Yes. And the last thing that I want to make sure I get out of the animal when I'm done is the trachea. And that's the trachea. Okay, one final good rinse inside. Wash all the blood and stuff out. And it's a finished product. It's ready to be packaged and go to the butcher.
Hey, thanks for watching our video today. We hope you learned a little something about how to take a lamb and turn it into dinner, making lamb chops. We hope that you understand the process and you learn where your food comes from. We hope you've been a bit educated and a bit inspired as well. Thanks for watching. Check out more episodes coming.
If you enjoyed this video, we'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe and leave us comments about what you might like to see in future episodes. We'll see ya back on the ranch.